You are Locked On Phillies Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Philadelphia, on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Welcome into the show, everybody. Hey, remember when we used to do these shows and it would be like after the Phillies won, and not just like won a game or like two in a row, but they won like 5 in a row, 6 in a row, and it was a lot more fun to talk about the Phillies than it is right now where they lose again. Back-to-back games again. I can't reference it enough. They went over a month without losing back-to-back games, and now they just keep on losing back-to-back games. This isn't as fun as it used to be, and now the Phillies have lost 7 of their last 10? Okay, all right. Now we're far beyond the idea of the Phillies. Oh, you're not gonna win them all. You know what I'm saying? But at least we have something else we could talk about tonight other than just the Phillies being terrible. It's mostly Taijuan Walker being terrible. And it is by far enough being enough. I have you guys that have stuck with the show and watched the show, and as the show has grown and all that stuff, you guys know I've been more than fair with Taijuan Walker. I know that Rob Thompson deserves a good amount of blame for the first 2 starts Taijuan Walker had since coming off the IL. You guys have heard me say that enough times, and I have tried to be fair, I've tried to be just, and most importantly, I've tried to be accurate when describing Taijuan Walker. So I say this with every ounce of patience that is now run out. He cannot start another game for the Philadelphia Phillies if Spencer Turnbull is healthy. I would take this time. I know Spencer Turnbull pitched tonight. I know Spencer Turnbull pitched well. I would not have him pick up a baseball again as a bullpen arm. I am right now calling for this to be the last start for Taijuan Walker this season, as long as 5 other guys are healthy enough to start out of the bullpen. It has to end now with Taijuan Walker. Enough is enough. And a 5.60 ERA, not just to compare. Like, another thing with Taijuan Walker, another reason why I gave him a couple benefits of the doubt, right? And I tried to be a little optimistic about it. Talking about, $72 million over a 5-year span, which is bonkers. For me, when looking at him, trying to judge him, I want to give him the benefit of the doubt. Not just the fact that his ERA was like twice anybody else in this roster on this pitching staff, but for the main part, that just, okay, 4.50 ERA, that's not good, but you're also comparing it to the other guys in the rotation. A 5.60 ERA right now is abominable. It's what it is. It's terrible. Absolutely horrendously bad. I can't see it anymore. With a hanging splitter, a sinker, flat as hell, all over, just straight down the middle of the plate, being blasted out of the ballpark. A 3-home run game against the Arizona Diamondbacks is egregious, and I'm done with it. But anyway, welcome into the show. More on that in a second. My name's Mark Farzetta. You are Locked On Phillies Postcast here on the Locked On Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. Hope you guys like and subscribe and all that fun stuff. And I do want to tell you that this particular episode is brought to you by the amazing, the incredible people at Tax Network USA. Tax Network USA. Did you know that it's never too late to resolve your tax issues with the IRS? Don't wait. Reduce your tax debt and get help from a team of licensed tax professionals. Call 1-800-549-1000. That's 1-800-549-1000 or visit tnusa.com/locked-on. That's tnusa.com/locked-on. Let's start it off with 3 big things as we do each and every time we do this. Number 1, Taijuan Walker. You heard the argument I've just laid out for you. It is absolutely terrible. There's no saving grace to it. And even when you think he's actually going out there and he's going to have some good stuff, so I was reminded a little bit of Christopher Sanchez tonight. And not because of the good stuff, but because of the bad stuff. But Christopher Sanchez has ways to find himself or to force himself out of trouble. Time and time again, he gets himself out of trouble. Taijuan Walker finds himself in trouble, and then he just like basks in it for a while. And what's incredible about this is the first inning goes out there. It was a 12-pitch first inning, got a strikeout, fooled Peterson on an inside sinker, had him looking at it. It was great. Then you go into the second inning. He gets Walker to line out to left field. Great play there by Whit Merrifield coming on in pursuit. And then Gurriel steps up there and just slams a 411-foot home run on a 2-2 splitter. Just smacks that baseball. The splitter just hung flat as could be. And he puts it in the left field stands, 411 feet. Next thing you know, it's a 1-0 ball game. McCarthy goes up there, he grounds out the first, then he walks Suarez, and then Alexander grounds into the 5-4 fielder's choice, Bohm to Sosa at second base. So he goes from a 12-pitch inning to a 20-pitch inning, and you're down 1-0. So Phillies can't get anything really going for themselves there in the bottom of the second inning. So the top of the third, this is where it goes from like, oh, maybe he's going to put a good start on his belt. He gets Perdomo to strike out looking at a curveball. And it was actually a gorgeous curveball. And I'm like, all right, Taiwan Walker. So he gave up a home run. What's the big deal? Let's go, fella. He then walks Corbin Carroll on 5 pitches. Moreno goes up there. And while he's at the plate, Carroll steals second base. It doesn't matter because he hangs a sinker, a 3-1 sinker. The way I could describe this 3-1 sinker to Moreno, who hit the 2-run home run to make it a 3-0 ball game at this point. The way to describe it is this is the pitch that hitters dream about. Count, a runner on base. He put the swing on the pitch that hitters dream about. 3-1 pitch with a runner on base, a sinker that stays flat out over every inch of the middle of the plate, and he blasts this baseball 433 feet to center field. Oh, my goodness gracious. Christian Pache, you know what? Christian Pache is a hell of a guy because he even took a couple of trots in the direction of the baseball. God love him. You know, pitchers hate when the outfielder just stands there and be like, oh, yeah, no, I'm not getting that ball. Christian Pache actually went, okay. No, gave a couple courtesy trots to it. Next thing you know, it's 4-0 ball game at that point, and the Phillies, they're not feeling too good about themselves. So that kind of sucked. And then just when you're feeling pretty terrible, 3-0 ball game at that point. Then when you're feeling extra terrible, Jack Peterson's just like, hey, you guys having a good time? Can I make it worse? Yeah. And he belts a home run out of the ballpark as well. Then it was 4-0 in favor of the Arizona Diamondbacks. And Walker tried his damnedest to get out of it. He then gave up a double to right field. Weak hit down the line. That's when he just kind of knew that he just didn't have it. Not that you didn't know that already with 3 home runs surrendered by the third inning. Gurriel flies out to center field. McCarthy strikes out in the sinker. All in all, in that inning, 3 runs crossed the plate, 29 pitches thrown by Taijuan Walker, 2 home runs surrendered in that third inning. Get him out of there, Rob Thompson. So at that point in the game, what is he at that point? He's at 49 to 52, 53 pitches, or 51 pitches, I think he's at that point in the game. They bring him back out somehow magically for the 4th inning. Walks, first guy he faces. He's throwing. At this point, I give him credit. Rafael Marchand, who was catching for the Phillies today with Taiwan Walker pitching, just had him throwing cutters and sinkers. Like, hey, just get back on track, baby. Just get back on track. He missed 2 cutters. He missed 2 sinkers. He walks Suarez on 4 pitches, so the leadoff runner's now on. Gets Alexander to fly out to center field. Perdomo goes up there. Suarez fortunately gets picked off, and then Perdomo flies out to center field as well. So no damage there in the 4th inning. You could say he settled in. He still walked a guy. Gave up the stolen base. Or no, he got the pick off there. But I am just done. Absolutely done with Ranger Suarez, and I think you are too. Spencer Turnbull came in. He pitched a solid. He did a solid job coming in out of the pen, and I know he's still not comfortable coming in out of the bullpen, but still, nonetheless, gave up 2 hits in 3 innings, struck out 2, also issued 1 walk, used 49 pitches to get through those 3 innings of work. Here you go, 49 pitches through 3 innings for Spencer Turnbull. Taiwan Walker, 77 pitches through 4 innings of work. Not cool. Can we please and thank you be done with this? I understand the money matters big time. It'd be kind of better if it didn't. Be kind of better. And just for those that forgot, in April, where the Phillies and Spencer Turnbull had 6 starts, he had a 1.67 ERA. I miss that. I miss that guy. I miss that guy being like supposedly the 4th or 5th man in the rotation. I miss that. Taiwan Walker is going to become a very expensive bullpen piece. And I get it. You had $2 million deal with Spencer Turnbull. We said it at the time. It doesn't make sense other than dollars and cents. That's the only time it makes sense is when dollars precedes it. And that's exactly what the Philadelphia Phillies have done with Taiwan Walker. Number 2, that's Taiwan Walker. Now moving on to number 2. Bryce Harper's been hot. Bryce Harper's been red hot. Tonight he got a double. I think he thought it was a home run. I don't know if he was busting out of the plate. I know he did a certain internet fad. If you didn't have Apple TV and you didn't see the game, it's worth just checking, the social media networks, and stuff just for this particular highlight. But he gets the double off the wall in right field, and then recreates a viral sensation that's sweeping a social media network near you. Okay, he does that, and then he's terrible for his last the last two at bats. Terrible. First off, in this particular instance here, it was the sixth inning. He leads off with that leadoff double, and he performs the act, and then he does not tag up on Alec Boehm's deep fly ball that he just got under to right field. So he's still standing on second base right now with the leadoff double and now one out. Phillies can't get anything going the rest of the way, so it ends up not coming back to bite him in the behind. But you never know how the game changes when you got a runner right there, smack dab on third base. At this point, it would only been with one out. You never know what could change. He should have been on third. He wasn't on third. Then the crowning moment, unfortunately, was in the very next inning. He steps to the plate with the bases loaded and one out, and he grounds into the 1-2-3 double play to end that inning. That was the ball game, as far as I'm concerned. That right then and there was the ball game. Phillies' huge opportunity in the seventh inning to make something happen, and Bryce Harper, of all people, a guy that's belting home runs and hitting doubles and viral sensations, all that stuff, he goes out there and he grounds into the 1-2-3 double play, and then he grounds out later in the ball game as well in a crucial situation to not be able to help the Phillies in the later innings of this ball game. Bryce Harper, this would have been a good game for you to take advantage of those opportunities. And a big part of the Phillies leaving six guys on base, a big part of the Phillies being 1 for 8 with runners in scoring position. The only guy that got a hit with a runner in scoring position was actually Trea Turner. That was it. And that was an infield single in that seventh inning. And I thought that was going to be the moment. And we'll highlight that seventh inning a little bit more going on. Number 3 on the list, I do got to go with Cole Hamels. Yeah, that's right. The guy didn't play tonight. I try to keep 3 big things, like something good. And I already got Taiwan Walker, bad. I got Bryce Harper, not so great. Cole Hamels, man, going down memory lane with Cole Hamels starting things off. And locally, NBC Sports Philadelphia carried the whole thing. I will say they were really doing a great job of complimenting this ceremony. I thought the ceremony was terrible. Okay? I thought it was terrible. And I think they hung Dan Baker out to dry. I don't know if they it was almost as if they just handed someone a sheet of paper and said, here's the run of show, go do it. Without but what about this and what about that? Did they tell Cole Hamels where he's supposed to be? At one point, Dan Baker had to tell Cole Hamels to sit down. When you're honoring one of the greats of all time, which is exactly what these ceremonies are for, you got to have it buttoned up. And it drove me crazy. And I don't know if that's just because I'm, no pun intended, too inside baseball. But I'm like, this is Cole Hamels. Let's have this running, man. All the stuff they did in terms of tribute, the glove, the pitching rubber, the lineup card, all that stuff was great. But in terms of the order of the show, let's keep it snappy, man. Let's keep this on point. It was not worthy of the man. The gifts, worthy of the man. The gesture, worthy of the man. The actual ceremony, not worthy of the man. But going back down Cole Hamels Road, if you're like me, and you were a kid, man, when the 93 Phillies were the 93 Phillies. And I love Crucker on the broadcast today talking about how we didn't even know we won. They're talking about they didn't know, the 2 Phillies pitchers to be NLCS MVPs. It was Cole Hamels and Curt Schilling. And, of course, Curt Schilling on the 93 team was John Kruk's teammate. John's like, oh, that's right. I did play with that guy. Oh, yeah. And I thought at first he was being facetious. And then he said, because Curt Schilling has he's found some controversy in his post-playing career. But Crucker just says, well, we did party a lot. We didn't even know we clinched the division, or we didn't even know we clinched the pennant until the day after. We partied hard in those days. It's like, Crucker, never stop being you. But Cole Hamels in 08, the feeling from going from 93, as I hit my pen, the feeling of 93 was brought back big time in 08. It was brought back in a way in 07 just from making the playoffs. That atmosphere being back was incredible. But then Cole Hamels, you just felt like every time he had the ball, you're going to win. And it wasn't even oh, we're going to be in a position to win the later innings. No, you were going to win. That's how you felt with Cole Hamels in 2008. It was automatic. Going back even further, like when I really do think about the 93 Phillies and then Cole Hamels making his debut. I remember Pat Gillick had recently taken over as the Phillies general manager, and one of the big knocks on Ed Wade was waiting so long. Like Chase Utley wasn't an everyday second baseman until he was 27 years old. Like think about that. Like Ryan Howard wasn't an everyday player until he was 26. Like there was this, and Jimmy Rollins, I think he was 22, 23 when he really started playing. But the knock on the Phillies farm system and the Phillies front office is that we don't want to bring up guys too early. It was that they're always bringing up guys too late. And they even held off Chase Utley because, well, he's going to struggle at second base. Like, let him figure it out. For that bat, let him figure it out at second base, okay? And they didn't. They waited. And then when he finally got up here in the days of Charlie Manuel figuring out the National League, which were the early days of Charlie Manuel, you had Placido Polanco playing second base. Ed Wade literally had to trade Placido Polanco so that Chase Utley would be the regular second baseman for the team finally. So Cole Hamels, I tell you all that, tell you this. Cole Hamels comes up 22 years old. And we're all like, he's 22 years old. Let him get his career going. He's not going to get any better in the minors. There was a couple of incidents, injuries, broken hands, whatever the case might have been in the minors. If you know, you know. And then finally, he's lights out in the minors. And Pat Gillick says, no, it's time for him to come up. And he comes up against the Cincinnati Reds, and he dazzled. I think it was only 5 innings his first start. But he goes out there, and you see immediately what every single scout was talking about when it came to a curveball. And just for reference, like Brett Myers came up. And Brett Myers came up, and he was supposed to have this devastating curveball. And this is a few years before Hamels, obviously. But Brett Myers was supposed to come up, one of the top prospects the Phillies had, obviously. He comes up to the big leagues, and he's throwing these curveballs. He's throwing these hooks against the Cubs. And he's like, wow, this is an incredible curveball. And then Brett started to rely too much on his fastball a little bit later in his career, and that ended up hurting. But Cole Hamels, you saw this changeup, and it was the thing that was most worthy of the hype. Like, damn, that ball just disappears. That ball just dies. The arm slot looks exactly the same as the fastball. The speed of his arm and his release looked exactly the same as the fastball. And guys will have gone. Griffey, Cincinnati Reds, Ken Griffey Jr. was left flailing away at that pitch. And then you see him just rise through the ranks, become the Phillies ace, wins the World Series, was incredible in 08. World Series MVP, NLCS MVP. I remember seeing him go by on Broad Street as I was up in one of the balconies, just the thumbs up to the crowd, the whole thing, seeing him address the crowd and how hyped everybody was at Citizens Bank Park when he was addressing the crowd and talking about how he wants to go down Broad Street again and again and again. All that stuff still gives me goosebumps. And then really wanting the Phillies to hold on to him when they let go of him, when they traded him. And you're talking about a trade with the Texas Rangers that brought you Jorge Alfaro, brought you, who was Williams? Nick Williams. Yeah, it was one of them. And there's one more pitching prospect I want to say. His name's evading me, unfortunately. But it just wasn't, none of them panned out. Alfaro had a little bit of a big league career. Nick Williams had a little bit of a big league career. Threw Gabe Kapler under the bus with if you want the computers to fill out the lineup card. Didn't see much of Nick Williams no more after that. But all the time that Cole Hamels was here, he was young enough where he could have been back like 2 years ago at 38, 37 years old, could have been back when the Phillies were really hitting their stride, and maybe even would have hit their stride earlier. Now, of course, later on in his career, he did have the injuries towards the end of his career, and now just officially retiring and all that stuff. But I never wanted the Phillies to let him go. And then when he threw that no-hitter in Chicago with Odubel Herrera making the ridiculous play in center field on that after misreading the hell out of it, you just knew it was going to be Cole Hamels' last start. And I forgot. One thing I did forget was that when Hamels was celebrating at Wrigley Field with that no-hitter, He goes, so who's going tomorrow? And Aaron Nola just raises his hand. Just like, I got to follow the no-no? All right, great. And then Cole Hamels was gone, and that was that. And I do remember when the rumors really started to circulate about Cole Hamels being traded. You know, I mean, everyone knew it was going to happen. Everyone knew what the Phillies were doing and all that. The thing that was really amazing was I wanted them to trade him for Kyle Schwarber because I really wanted Kyle Schwarber playing for the Phils. And some years later, I got my wish. And here we are. And, Kyle Schwarber is in the lineup card for that no-hitter in Chicago. Pretty amazing. So Cole Hamels helped give me my first championship ever as a Philadelphia sports fan. Yeah. I remember my dad telling me about the Flyers parades, Sixers, Phillies in 80 before I was born, and all that. And when the Phillies had the parade in 08, that was like, it was like nothing I could have even imagined. Nothing like I could have even imagined. Everybody undersold a Philadelphia sports parade to me. It's pretty special. It's pretty special. Thank you, Cole Hamels, for that. And I did like his speech. Just didn't like the organization of the whole ceremony. Just being real with you. When we come back, we'll take a look at one man who might be on a mission right now for the Philadelphia Phillies. We'll get to that in a second. You are Locked On Phillies postcast and the Locked On Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. Ladies and gentlemen, how much fun is Stitch Fix? If you're not taking advantage of all that Stitch Fix has to offer, what are you doing? It's one of my few shirts I have from Stitch Fix. I love Stitch Fix, okay? Stitch Fix is great. Stitch Fix actually matches you with a stylist that makes you feel like you have ESP with a stylist. With Stitch Fix, you get a stylist who understands your style, your size, and your budget. They do all the shopping for you. It's the easiest way to update your wardrobe this season and easy to upgrade your wardrobe as well this year with the professional stylist at Stitch Fix. I just give them my size, my style, and my budget preferences, of course, and I order a box and they give me what I want, and I keep what I like. I give back what I don't. I'd send it right back. No subscription required. They just sent 5 or more pieces. I look at them. I tell them what I like. I tell them what I don't like. It's what fits, what doesn't. And here's one of the best parts about it. I'm a pretty simple guy when it comes to how I dress. A nice pair of slacks, maybe a pair of jeans, button down. But they'll be like, hey, try this blazer. This might be your style. And I'm like, I would have never thought of this. This is great. And I end up keeping that stuff. I have 3 or 4 sports coats that Stitch Fix picked out for me, and I absolutely love it. Stitch Fix makes it so easy. So, I don't like to shop to expand it. They expand it for me. It's great. When it's the best time? Right now. When's the best time? Right now to get started on Stitch Fix at stitchfix.com/MLB and get $100 off. That's $25 off your first 4 fixes. How about that? Huh? The best time to get started with Stitch Fix is stitchfix.com/MLB. That's stitchfix.com/MLB. You get $100 off, $25 off for your first 4 fixes for a limited time only. stitchfix.com/MLB for $100 off. stitchfix.com/MLB. Must redeem within 7 days of sign up. Offer does not include kids fixes. stitchfix.com/MLB. Before we get to our chat check, I do got to get into 2 things here. 1, Nick Castellanos. 2, the Phillies' chances that they had today. Let's recap, shall we? Here's what's going down. Nick Castellanos, first the good, then we'll get to the bad. Nick Castellanos, longest hitting streak of the season. I've been saying we haven't really seen it for more than a week. Well, you know what? He did have an 8-game hitting streak between May 4th and May 12th. He had a 8-game hitting streak where he raised his batting average from 180 to 209. That 8-game hitting streak started in San Francisco when Rob Thompson batted him 4th in the lineup when he gave Alec Boehm a day off when Alec Boehm had the 3 misplays in one game. Alec Boehm got the day off. Nick Castellanos got moved up to the 4 spot. Bada boom, bada bang. He raised his average, about 29 points. Not terrible. So then you look at the rest of this. Is he going to be able to have now with a 5-game hitting streak, now that he hit a home run tonight, is he going to be able to, and the 10th home run of the season, by the way. All right, now we got 5 games under the belt with Nick Castellanos hitting. We've got 7 extra base hits in his last 8 hits. 4 triples, 5 extra base hits. in the last 5 games. That's starting to turn a corner. So now you got 5 down. You got 4 more games to go in order to set a new season-long hitting streak. 8 games is where it's at right now. Can I get to 9? Can we get to 9? Can I get to 9? So, Nick Castellanos. Love that he hit the 10th home run of the season, went down and got it. It was a bad pitch to hit. He made it a very good pitch to hit. He knocked it out of the park. Now, let's get to the chances before I get to the chat check here in a second here. The chances in this game. Second inning, Edmundo Sosa, 2-out double. Phillies could do nothing with it. 2-out double. You don't expect much early in the ballgame. Unfortunate, it didn't happen. 4th inning, Nick Castellanos, 1-out walk. Edmundo Sosa, 1-out single. You have runners on first and second. You got 1 out. Whit Merrifield flies out to center field. Christian Pache gets called out on a terrible pitch. It was a ball. Home plate umpire, I think it was Beck behind the plate tonight. Adam Beck behind the plate tonight called it a strike. Kyle Schwarber at one point argued it. He got a low strike called. His was closer than Pache's, but Schwarber didn't like it none. Also, Schwarber got called for being unable to check his swing, and Harper got called for being unable to check his swing. In both instances, I think the umpires were right. I hate to admit it, but both umpires were right. So 4th inning, Casty and Sosa get on base with 1 out. So you have first and second with 1 out. Merrifield flies out. Pache gets called out on a low changeup. 6th inning, Harper leads off with the double. Viral sensation. And then nothing doing after that. 7th inning, Harper grounds into that bases-loaded double play, and that was the shoot-yourself-in-the-foot moment. 7th inning, Marsh starts it off by leading off with a walk. Then Dahl works a walk. Marsh strikes out to start off the inning. Dahl works a walk. Marchand works a walk. 4 pitches. Ginkel goes up there. He's out of the game. Manaply comes in there. Schwarber works a walk on 4 pitches. Trea Turner, God bless him, hacks at the first pitch. If the guy in front of you walks on 4 or 5 pitches, you're taking the first pitch. You're not trying to help the pitcher out at any moment. Trea Turner hacks at the first pitch. He goes down in the count 0-2. He then makes it to a 1-2 count, and then he gets the infield single to first. Dahl scores on that. He beats it out. Great to see it. And then Bryce Harper, you're thinking you're going to get a big inning here now that it's a 4-3 ball game after the RBI infield single by Trea Turner. 4-3 game. Bryce Harper, 1-2-3 double play. That was that. 8th inning, he hit the home run from Castellanos on a 1-2 slider low in the zone, and he put it into the left field stands. Oh, of course, Ryan Thompson, the big boy, pitching there in that 8th inning for the Diamondbacks. So it's one of the greatest plays I've ever seen a pitcher make. I got to give him all the credit in the world. It's one of the best plays I've ever seen a pitcher make. He's going to his right. I know he's a sidearmer. I know they talked about it on the broadcast. He goes down. He just makes a fluid throw. He looks like a shortstop. Anytime a pitcher can look like a shortstop, it's miraculous. And he just made a play, an athletic play, fired to first, got Bohm by a spike. If his spike was 1 inch longer, he would have been safe at first base. It wasn't the case. Great play by Ryan Thompson. Hat tip, credit where credit's due. Then Castellanos got the home run. You got a runner on base. You're obviously talking about a tie ball game instead of a 1-run ball game, and then the Phillies go down 1-2-3 in the bottom of the 9th inning, and that was that. Some people, though, were excited to see Sewald pitch. Trade bait? Trade bait? Maybe. Let's get into the chat check and see how you guys are doing. Sir Sketchable, thank you. Free Turnbull. Hell yeah. Phillies clutch rating goes negative against this bozo fake snake team. Wait, hold on a second. Is there no such thing as an actual Diamondback snake? Is this like a Seahawk where there are hawks by the sea, but there's not necessarily a Seahawk? Is that what we're talking about here? I am confused, dude. John Marinelli, what's going on, brother? I wasn't able to watch the game tonight for good or ill, thanks to the fine people at Apple TV. Well, I'll tell you this much. The 3rd inning there, where everything was falling apart, you didn't miss much. Christopher Michael starting to feel bad for Walker. We need to put him out of his misery and take him off the bump. Stuff's embarrassing. His stuff is so bad, and he knows it. Also, so trash with runners in scoring position as per usual lately. Knew the game was over in my gut when Bryce got the first pitch BS dribbler with the bases loaded double play. Pathetic. Yeah, it wasn't good. IBH. Philly. That's just funny to me. I don't know why. They owe Walker and Cassia combined $76 million over the next 2 seasons. Ugh. Ugh. Gross. Dr. MP, I'm just going to put this first part up here. I'm not going to the second comment. Timothy B, distance between them and the Braves shrinking daily. Braves won tonight. 6-game lead now for the Phils. Hopefully this stretch of 500 ball will get Dombrowski off his rear end and make some moves. They should have gone to a 6-man rotation, kept Turnbull roll. No, I don't. No. I hate the 6-man rotation. I would have kicked Walker out. Turnbull's your 5th starter. Done. Anytime you have somebody dealing like that, like Spencer Turnbull, 167 ERA in April as a starter. This isn't difficult, Phillies. And they go, no, we're going to mess with it because of money. As the late, great Alan Thicke would say. Money. Anyway. Brian, I'm glad you brought this up. Thank you. I love stop, but would have left Sosa. Sosa's just figuring out ways to get on base. Like, I would not have messed with that either. But here's what is interesting to me. Bryson Stott is hitting better against lefties than he is righties. This whole, like, not hitting him against righties, and don't get me wrong, he's not having a great season hitting-wise. We all know that. But he's hitting, I think, 10 points higher against left-handed pitcher than he is right-handed. Why are we doing this? Why do we continue to do this with Bryson Stott? I understand the idea of just giving him a day off. You want to give him a day off, give him a day off. The lefty thing, it's something that they shouldn't be going out of their way to do. Oh, Chris Ballard, don't you dare start. Don't you dare start. Fool's gold like the 10-1 Eagles. How dare you? Team can't manufacture runs without home runs. I disagree. Their biggest RBI guy is not a leader in home runs in Alec Boehm. He's got, 7 on the season now? I was watching the game tonight with my father-in-law. I got family in town, and he was up here a week ago, and he was watching the game with me then, and he was like, you were telling me about Boehm. He's not really hitting home runs. It's like, yeah, he's not a power. He doesn't hit for, he won't hit 40 home runs. He won't even hit 30. He just barely got to 20. He got to 20 home runs in the last game of the season last year. That's because Rob Thompson just really wanted him to get to 20 home runs, so he played him. And he hit his 20th home run, so good for Boehm. I'm glad that he got that plateau, or that milestone, I should say. But I don't agree that they can't manufacture runs. I think they can. Right now, not so much. Right now, you're absolutely right. They cannot manufacture runs, Chris. I agree. But mostly, I believe they can. Brian thinks the same thing. Ari! Ari, it's actually my cousin's wedding. I got my little baby cousin. She's getting married tomorrow. So thank you for reminding me, Ari. Folks, try not to miss me too much tomorrow night. I will not be. The show will go on. It's showbiz, baby. The show will go on. I won't be doing the show. Connor Thomas will have you tomorrow. The host, the daily host there of Locked On Phillies Locked On Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel, and wherever you get your podcasts. Connor Thomas will be hosting the show tomorrow after the Phillies 4:10 start time. 4:05 start time? 4:05 start time against the D-backs. Spurgeon, what's going on? Cut Taiwan Walker. Hilarious. All right. Sorry, Scoozy. It's a family program. Money spent in the offseason. Thank you, Ari. Julian, I think they win the division. Spurgeon, I am so past. I am so past the division. I'm over it. All right. It's for me, it's like, okay, this is the only time I'll reference the Eagles' collapse of last year. Towards the end of the season, obviously, it's like people are like, well, it seems like before back when it was just a skid, before it was a collapse. Like, oh, they're skidding, they're scuffling a little bit, They're having some struggles. Back when it was just in that mode, like before they lost to Jonathan Gannon, before they lost to the Seattle Seahawks, right? Before that, I was like, I don't know, I don't want to hear about the division. I would have been so happy with the division. I would have been so happy to avoid a wild card. For 2 reasons. One, you actually won a game other than one game down the stretch. That would have been nice. But I'm in a similar mind space right now, headspace right now with the Phillies. Like, division? Are you kidding me? Like, first off, here's what's going to be disappointing. I'm going to be extremely disappointed, and this might seem stupid to some people, but I think it matters. To be on the pace that you were at, setting records the way you were setting records for greatest start of a franchise, this franchise history, blah, blah, blah. If you don't set the franchise record with it, like, okay, 103 wins sets a new franchise record for 103 wins in the season. If you don't win 110 games, that's a failure. Now, granted, that goes out the window once the playoffs start and you start winning games there. Then I won't care so much about 110 games, but it would make me feel a lot better about what this team does on a consistent basis. I think that goes for everybody. Oh, congrats to the oldie. Oh, grazie mille. Grazie mille. Grazie mille, John. Il bocca di lupo. Thank you so much. Very nice of you. And for those of you who don't speak the Italian language, no. All right. All right. When we come back, we're going to take a look at where the Phillies are headed tomorrow. The game Connor Thomas is going to have for you. We'll preview the pitching matchup when we come back. You're Locked On Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. Ladies and gentlemen, these people helped me out some years ago, and they can help you out too. Tax Network USA. Here at Locked On Sports, Locked On Phillies postcast, we pride ourselves on getting you the latest news for your team, whether it's the offseason, the draft, spring training, or the playoffs. It's year-round, as you know. And you know what else is year-round? Collections. That's right. Just because you filed taxes, just because you did it in time, doesn't mean you did it right. And the IRS, they can still come after you for unfiled taxes. The IRS can garnish your wages, levy your bank accounts, and even seize your property. Don't let the IRS target you. Let the licensed professionals and tax experts at Tax Network USA go to bat for you. Told you guys before, in this business, you can wear a lot of different hats. You can work for a lot of different companies. Your paychecks and all that stuff could be all over the place, a little confusing. The people I trusted with my taxes screwed it up. Screwed it up to the point I started getting letters saying, hey, give us Uncle Sam was like, hey, you owe me my money. Give me my money, said Uncle Sam. And I'm like, hey there, easy. Back off there, Uncle Sam. And I contacted the great people right there at the Tax Network USA. And boy, did they help me out. They helped me out big time. With over 14 years of experience and an A+ rating by the Better Business Bureau. Tax Network USA has saved their clients over $1 billion in tax debt. Whether you owe taxes, whether you have complicated matters like myself, tax planning, finally hit that parlay this season, huh? You need help correctly filing? Call 1-800-549-1000. That's 1-800-549-1000. Or visit tnusa.com/lockedon. That's tnusa.com/lockedon. See the link in the description below for more information for the great people at Tax Network USA. Here's what we got for your Philadelphia Phillies, still now in search of their 50th win of the season. Phillies are at it, trying to avoid 3 in a row. 3 losses in a row. They'll go against that tomorrow with Zach Wheeler on the bump against Tommy Henry. It'll be a lefty-righty matchup. Zach Wheeler, obviously, the right-handed pitcher in that regard. Tommy Henry gets the start as a lefty. He's 2-2 in the season with a 6.23 ERA on the year. He's a 26-year-old lefty. He has made 6 previous starts on the season. Looking at his last handful of games, 4 innings, 5 earned runs, including 2 homers against the hapless Chicago White Sox. They suck. He also did well for over 2 1/3 against the San Diego Padres a week ago. That was 2 innings, 2 1/3, 3 hits, 2 runs. That's how that worked. So hopefully the Phillies will be able to get to Tommy Henry for that. As far as Zach Wheeler goes, boy, oh boy. Zach Wheeler coming off his worst start, matching a career high with 8 earned runs in the ball game, matching a career high with 4 home runs hit. Good God, man, against the Baltimore Orioles, who absolutely poop-canned the Yankees yesterday. 17 runs on 19 hits. Holy Stromboli. He comes back to the mound at Citizens Bank Park, making his first start there in 17 days, I believe it is. Yeah, well, that's against Milwaukee. Previous to his 8-run blow-up in a 4 1/3 inning. I would also hope tomorrow Rafael Marchand's behind the plate and not Garrett Stubbs. I don't know. But, yeah, he gets the ball for the Phillies tomorrow, just like that. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Make sure you guys hit like and subscribe on the Locked On Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. Connor Thomas will be back with you guys tomorrow. Appreciate you. Have a wonderful rest of your evening. Connor Thomas tomorrow with you on Locked On Sports Philadelphia postcast. Show Connor Thomas some love tomorrow, people. See you guys on Sunday. See you then. Bye.